Welcome to the EXCELcast Mini. I'm Jonathan Kuskiski, Assistant Director for Entrepreneurship and Career Services here at the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance. This is a special set of mini episodes where we profile some of our student entrepreneurs who've been involved with our EXCELerator Fellow program. So, welcome Ashley Stanley, who's the Artistic Director of Hustle Harder. So it's an interesting title, and it has a particularly Michigan sort of center to it. So could you tell us a little bit about what your project actually is?
Sure. So my project is a commission project. I'm commissioning 6 composers, all with some Michigan affiliation. Many of them are Michigan alumni, University of Michigan alumni. And what I've asked them to do is to write based on some story or perspective on the state of Michigan that they've experienced themselves. And so the big reason why I thought it was so important is because I grew up here. I spent my whole life in Michigan, and to see all the stories that are happening and all of the nature that's happening, it made it very important and very real for me. And I think the biggest reason being when the economic downfall of the automotive industry happened a few years ago, many jobs were being cut, and it seemed like on a public scale people felt like they were really allowed to speak about Detroit without ever having been here or understood these perspectives. So that's kind of the perspective my piece is taking, is to kind of clear the air and get people to really understand what is happening. As far as some other composers, Nina Shaker is writing about factory work, and Lucas Grant is writing about a Traverse City man who recently passed away.
And Nina's a student.
Nina is a student.
And Lucas is...
Lucas is also a recent grad.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's awesome to collaborate with, like, people that I see on a daily basis. You know, they're so talented. And Lucas is writing about a Traverse City man who lived, a very typical Michigan life, recently passed away, and he just loved, taking his boat out on the Traverse Bay. And so these are some of the perspectives that I'm working with, and there's much more to come.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're really creating sort of a musical portrait for the entire state, right?
Yeah,
That's great. Great. So tell us a little bit about the timeline and mechanics for your project. It has multiple pieces. It's not just a performance or commission. It involves that and more.
Right, so the first kind of phase, I describe my project in phases. The first phase of the project is the commissions. And so I'm commissioning 6 composers from the state of Michigan. A lot of them are University of Michigan alumni, so that's also very exciting. And so the commissions should be coming in by the end of summer. I'll learn them and then put together some kind of an interactive, immersive show just to, get the product out there in Ann Arbor and in Detroit. And then in the spring, the following spring, 2017, I'll be taking it on a tour to all the festivals throughout the summer, working with, the flute community, the music community, elementary schools, anywhere basically that I can get the project out and really get these ideas running through people. And then ultimately, I thought it would be just awesome to have a video album of all of the pieces. Many people are recording albums. It's so easy to get an album out there these days, and I thought, how cool would it be if I could take it to the next step, have this interactive album where there's a video for the entire thing. So it's taking the album concept and kind of immersing it in more of a multimedia platform.
Very cool. So some of the projects that were involved in this EXCELerator Fellowship program, basically they were already established, right? They might have already been at point A or even point B, and what we did is help them get sort of from point B to point C. You came in, I remember our first conversation, with this big idea, and it was really at the start of that ideation process. And so what are some of the surprises that you encountered in this first phase that we've gone through over the past 3 or 4 months?
I would say the first big surprise that I had was I met with Professor Peter Sparling from the dance department, which you guys helped facilitate. And I went, and he was like, my initial plan was to get these pieces and take it on tour. And he was like, you're going to take this on tour before you've premiered it, in your hometown. Do you have any idea what you're signing up for, basically? I mean, he was super friendly, but he was, just saying, you've got all of this equipment to worry about. You've got to understand like how the show operates, what problems you're gonna have. So I think the biggest surprise that I had initially was just that the premiere wasn't going to be a tour. It was going to have to be a little bit more local so that I could rein in some of the problems that might happen, and then take the logistical issues that I've learned from, take that with me on tour. So that was a big surprise. And I guess the other big surprise was that people were so enthusiastic about the concept. When you put a concept on paper, and especially, it was just me. It wasn't a group. It was just my idea. And then putting it on paper and going to the expo and explaining to people what this project is, it felt really validating to get such positive feedback, and it really helped me to continue investing in my own idea, to just see other people so excited about it.
That's great. Well, we're so thrilled to have had the chance to work with you and to have you involved in this program and to see you go from the first step, the ideation process, to where you are now. And just in the last couple of minutes that we have, could you tell us what's up next in terms of your project? What's the timeline for the next few steps for the summer and beyond? Yeah,
so this summer I'm having a fundraiser concert. I'm thinking late April, kind of when the back to school crowd comes. And it's going to be a way for me to get the project idea out, maybe show like a sneak peek of some of the pieces that I've gotten back in the commissions, and show some of the other stuff that I do, some of my own compositions, some of my own projects on the side, as a way to kind of, publicize everything. And so I'm going to have that fundraiser concert, and then I'm looking forward to a premiere in the fall, and then the spring summer tour. So those are kind of the on deck. That's what's on deck right now. But in the meantime, I'm just waiting for the commissions and just so eager to learn them.
That's great. Well, we'll stay tuned for it, and we can't wait to see what you'll do next. Thanks so much for coming in and talking with us.
Thank you.